You know, I forgot to ask you earlier. Did you ever have any interactions with Fat Joe, or like were you able to like work with him or anything like that at any
I,
time?
I had one. I had one. Uh, and again, I don't get in between the problem with him and Cuban because I know that's really personal. Um, but according to people, he's a great guy, whatever. All I remember from him was, it's really different from Cuban. Cuban like embraced me. He knew who I was and like took me into to the family. I saw Fat Joe in Calle Ocho in Miami one time, and we were all in the back waiting to perform. And this guy walked in with like 20 dudes. He had a big entourage. Come to find out was because he was scared of people that were threatening him, and I knew he had the beef with Cuban. I think at that time it was like elevated, like they were really like really after each other.
What year was this?
I, I don't remember. I know it was Calle Ocho in the early 2000s. It had to be early 2000s.
Oh, so this was prior to you meeting Cuban, though.
Prior, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It was prior, and but I remember he just walked by me. He didn't say hi to me, nothing. And at the time, I used to think like, is it because he knows that the reggaeton dudes don't mess with me, or does he have something against Don Dinero? I didn't know, but he didn't show me. Every artist there. There was even English rappers there, like Flow Rider and stuff like that. Everybody showed me love because everybody knew who I was. But Fat Joe was the only rapper that didn't show me love, man. I don't know why.
Wow. So, because that was going to be my next question, because in the comments they're going to go crazy like, oh well, what if he didn't know who you were, blah blah, blah, right? So at that time, obviously your name was big enough that people knew you.
He knew who I was. He knew who I was because everybody there at the time when I was doing my thing, bro, just put it to you this way. I was going after so many rappers that everybody knew. This track and dudes going at everybody, they're all gonna find out. People gonna talk about it. I used to meet famous rappers and they'd be like, yo, I'm listening to your diss tracks here. And like they would tell me like, yo, don't tell nobody, right? But everybody knew who I was, man. I was like the onside hype of the moment. Like right. Everybody was like, Temperamento is the next one coming. You know what I'm talking? Nori, I know he was close to Nori, and Nori like literally brought me up to like Russell Simmons and like, I in the Hood Lab, I'm in the studio with him and he brings me downstairs specifically like telling Russell Simmons he was drunk, but he's like, this is the next one and this is the one you gotta listen to and forget these guys. This is the one, so everybody, they all knew who I was. But again, I don't know if he did it because he didn't, again, he had maybe beef and he was trying to watch his back because he was with 20 dudes. So I'm guessing he probably just wanted to go perform and leave and have no interactions. But he was like with 20 dudes. Nobody was going to do nothing to him.
Right.
I feel like he should have shown me love, a little bit of love.
Well, like he's been like kind of like said to like not have wanted to other Latino artists to really come up because he wanted to be that one after Pun had passed. Like he wanted to like, be like the only one almost. Like other people have said things like that before, but I think that it's kind of sad because like I felt like Terror Squad, not only as a group but as a record label, had he shown they put out successful projects like more consistently, think about how many Latino artists would have went and signed to Terror Squad. They would have been the Rockefeller for Latino artists, you know what I mean? Like the Rock Nation for them. Like it would have been on such a bigger level.
Yeah. I don't try to get too much into that part of it because I'll be honest with you, and I'm not gonna say a name, but there was an artist that was close to him that I did meet one time, and we're hanging out, and he told me straight up. He said that Joe got him 4 record deals. 4. And he specifically told me, he said, bro, it's impossible for a person to get more than 1 record deal in their lifetime. He got me 4 deals, and he said every single deal I screwed up.
Wow, okay.
So he said every single deal I screwed it up. So again, I think there's 2 sides of Fat Joe, is that personal side and then the business side. I don't understand the business. But I do know that back in those days, if you were him, a lot of those guys they were robbing a lot of artists and doing a lot of stuff that was messed up. I think that was normal back then. And then, but for the personal life, I don't really know him personally, so I can't talk about that. But when the business side, I think that it was normal for a guy like him to feel the way that you said he felt. Look at Diddy. He wanted to be the superstar when he wasn't. And I think with Pun, it had to be the same thing because Pun was the man. Like, he was the one. You're talking about you have a career and then the dude that you introduce becomes bigger than you. I think there's something that's gonna mess with your ego there. You know what I'm saying? And then you have, the little guys, right? Like Cuban and them around you that are nicer than you too. You know what I'm saying? And all respect to all of them, to Joe and stuff. But to me, Cuban was a perfect example. He was better. He was better than Joe too. It's like everybody he had wish at the end of the day he should have been proud of, because it's like if you look at it like I'm the reason they're heard and they're all better than me, then that makes me look good. Let me show them this type of love. You know what I'm saying? His legacy would have been better if none of that stuff would have happened and they would have kept being together,
I agree. I completely agree. And I think that the fans lost out on a lot because
man, it hurts me to this day, man, that their Terror Squad's not around, and it hurts me more that Pun's not around, because it would have been, the things that Reggaeton did, like they would have gotten there quicker if Pun was still alive, because he would have opened a lot of doors for people, and Cuban would have been right next to him, and Cuban would have opened a lot of doors for people, because knowing Cuban, personally, I know that he's that type of dude, and I also know, not to defend him or take sides, but I do know that if he had something against you, it was because something happened, like it was real, because I know that the people that showed him love, he was the best, man. He would treat people like kings.
Can I just guess the artist that you're talking about? Is it Tony Sunshine? No. No, it's not. No.
You could take all the guesses you want, but I ate.
But you said it's not Tony Sunshine?
I can't tell you, man.
Oh, it is.
I can't tell you. I didn't tell you.
No. Okay, all right.
People, you're hearing it from him. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not telling him.
Okay, all right.